this works, and I will admit the other people in the waiting room here. Who do we have on the phone?
That's me. It's
Karen?
Doug.
Is that your 630 number?
That's mine, probably. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just renaming so we know who we have. Oh, I guess I should have totally looked at your number, huh? Karen.
Hi. Yeah, I'm the only 217 probably.
Yeah. Oh, we are officially live on YouTube. I see us. All right. I'm gonna let this in. Who just joined us on the phone?
Probably Chris Hansen.
Chris, is that you?
It is. Hello. Hi. Yes, it is.
All right. I am renaming you on here.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Oh.
Okay. So for those of you that are on the phone, just so that you know, oh, Larissa's showing it. It's showing everybody that has our video. We are officially streaming the board meetings. So we are officially live. Yay.
Okay.
So anybody who talks, you may be identified. Oh, there's Deandra. Hey, Deandra.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
That's okay. We kind of talked really quickly about the town halls. So it's not necessarily, there's not a lot happening there. So we'll let you cover that a little bit more when your time comes up.
Okay.
Why don't we go ahead and move on now that we are officially live? Review of important upcoming dates. I can actually, we have quite a bit coming up. Thank you for everybody who put the information on the calendar. Any of you that are chairs, I would like to hopefully see those future events coming up. So we had a statewide association earlier. Fox Valley has a meeting on the 9th on residential real estate. There are also a couple of other events that are coming up that are hosted by other people, such as Estrin and Veritex. We have our IPA town hall with the county clerks. I do have 10 clerks that have confirmed, so I'm very excited about that. Commercial finance section has a meeting about due diligence. Litigation section has a job seeking item coming up this month. So anybody that does not know, make sure you go to the events page and see the calendar of events, and you can see all of the upcoming items that are coming up. Does anybody have anything else that we need to add that isn't in July?
Tomorrow I will email that I'm going to be presenting to the Missouri Paralegal Association an ethics seminar on, I believe it's July 28th. We just kind of confirmed that yesterday. And then I'll check with Yvonne and find out what it's a swap CLE, so the person in Missouri is going to present for us. So I'll find out from Yvonne what topic needs to be addressed that she can handle, and we'll get something probably scheduled up for August for her.
Thank you, Karen.
Sure.
Okay. Executive Director's Report, Yvonne.
Okay, scrolling. Okay, so membership numbers as of yesterday, we did go up a little bit from last month. I think maybe nine or 10. Excuse me.
You're muted
If you put yourself into mute.
Sorry. Liana, Sharon Patterson, and I have demoed 2 websites and attended a virtual presentation from a third. There are things that I liked about, I think there were things that all of us liked about some and didn't like about others, but you know, we looked at show care first, and just looking at show care in the beginning, it looked great. And then you look at a different one and it's like, oh, but I didn't know about that, and we should have asked questions about that. And so I'm just not ready to, none of us are ready to recommend a product. I am trying to set up more demos, and I'm going to relook at the live stream of Feed Loop before we move forward. But I do have, and this is later on the agenda, I do have November 3rd currently on hold, November 3rd, 2021 currently on hold. It is a Wednesday because Thursday, November 4th, 2021 is not available, and Thursday, November 11th is Veterans Day. But if the, I know we've already canceled the fall 2020 education conference. So I think that we need, obviously we're not ready to approve a contract for a new virtual conference platform, but I think that it's time, if the board agrees, to at least start finding the speakers, asking the chairs to find the speakers, because if we approve something in the next 2 weeks, perhaps via unanimous consent, we don't want to wait 2 more weeks to start finding the speakers. We want to start working on it now.
I completely agree with that. If we are, you know, since we are planning on trying to do it virtually, we definitely want to make sure we have those speakers in place. So if everybody can definitely, Liana or Yvonne, can you get a list to the chairs of the ones that you have confirmed right now?
Yeah, and we have to confirm with those ones that were 2020 spring that moved to 2020 fall, whether or not they're willing to do a virtual.
Mm-hmm.
And once we confirm whether or not they're willing to do a virtual on one of the, you know, virtual platforms, then we need to fill in the matrix and find where we're missing, and then reach out to the chairs and the board to quickly find speakers so that we can start advertising and potentially get paralegals throughout the country, as well as vendors throughout the country to sponsor.
Yeah, definitely. So once that list is confirmed, just send that around. I will reach out to the section chairs and the board to definitely all hands on deck so that we can get that started and going. Is everybody in agreement with that?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. NFPA report, Deandra, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. Okay, the NFPA met virtually on June 16th. NFPA board met virtually on June 16th. NFPA has been working diligently on getting its website up and running as it should be, and they're trying to figure out a good way for board communications, the board communication process, because, you know, everyone is in agreement that how they're sending emails and getting responses is not really working. So they're just trying to figure everything out. So they're asking everyone to please be patient. Block Read is hopeful. Due to the task force, they're hopeful that at the end of all the task force meetings, that by the convention that we will be celebrating the new strategic plan and have finalized the direction of NFPA and how things will work out moving forward. The March financial reports have been posted on the NFPA website. CLE coordinators are diligently reviewing and approving CLEs. Members that have questions concerning the new fast track pilot program should send emails to certifications@paralegal.org. And there is a fast track credentialing page on the NIFA website that has updates regarding the program. NFPA has temporarily partnered with a partnership program with PEG to offer free PACE and PCCE review courses for all NFPA members. It began the week of June 1st through June 5th. Details about that can be found on the NFPA website under the members only tab. Let me know if you have questions on how to get that.
Deandra, can you tell us what PEG is?
PEG, I don't know what the acronym stands for, but it's a company that that's all I know is it's a company that's offering training courses for the certification programs. I'm not quite sure what the acronym is for the company,
Okay.
but yeah.
That's Paralegal Education Group.
Okay.
Thanks, Yvonne.
Sorry. Thank you. It has been confirmed that the convention is going to be held virtually. They're still finalizing details and we'll know as soon as they know. There is a conventions page connected to NFPA's Facebook page, and you can find up-to-date information regarding the convention on that page. So everyone should probably join. If you're not already part of NFPA's Facebook page, please join and connect to that link. There is a conventions page connected to NFPA's Facebook page. Yes, there's a link.
That's Melissa, you're not on mute.
I know.
So.
My bad.
Comments or suggestions regarding the draft agenda topic, which should be attached to to this. You guys should have received it. We need to get any comments or suggestions or edits we have regarding the agenda topic to NFPA by August 16th. So I don't know when you guys, if we have comments, when you guys want to discuss that, if you guys have already discussed it, but any comments or edits you guys have, please get them to me before August 16th. Have you guys discussed it? Did you guys get a chance to look at that? Hello.
I actually kind of just quickly perused it. Do you want to give a short synopsis?
Not really.
Or just, we have until August to look it over. So why don't we put it on the agenda for the August board meeting?
Okay.
Everybody go ahead and take a look at that. It was attached to the NFPA report. If any of you guys do need a copy of it, reach out to Deandra and she can definitely get you a copy.
Yeah. The deadline to submit bids to host the 2024 convention is September 22nd. I am still waiting on a couple of board members to send me their confidentiality agreements. I think I'm waiting on 2 now. So if you guys can get those to me as soon as possible.
Yeah, Doug, we just need to work out you getting your confidentiality agreement over to Deandra.
Okay.
When we get a little bit further into the town halls, it is required in order for the board members to discuss it that there is a confidentiality agreement. They have asked us to make sure to sign that until the plan is complete. So we will go ahead and we'll figure out a way for you to get that confidentiality agreement over to Deandra.
Doug, if you can't sign the PDF, if you can print it out and sign it and take pictures of the pages and send them to me, that'll work as well. If that's your
Okay.
hope. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And Nikki's actually not on the call, so I'll follow up with her too as well.
Okay. All right. That's all I have.
All right. We'll go ahead and move on. Doug, do you have anything new to report from the CBA?
Well, the final report is almost ready. I mean, basically, they're doing a final edit before they open it up for public comment. The public comment period is supposed to start July 15th and run through August 15th. So fairly short public comment period. And you can log on to the website and submit comments after that site goes live and after they put the final report, up on the website. Because it's not up there now when I checked this morning, so I assume they're going to wait until July 15th when the public comment period actually starts before they actually put it up on the website. But I can email everybody the website that you'd go to after the 15th to check out the final reports, and you can look through the procedure on how to submit an actual public comment. So I'm not too sure if anybody wants to issue some kind of a comment, as an organization. Probably would not be a bad idea to have everybody on the board review the report, or at least the subcommittee report on paralegal regulation, and see if there are any comments we would want to make as a board on what the CBA and CBF came up with.
Okay. And what's the deadline for comments on that, Doug?
Well, it should the public comment period should start July 15th and runs through August 15th.
Okay. All right. Yeah, definitely distribute that. And I will actually send out an email to the board members once that does go live to review it. And then we can put together what our comments would be for that on behalf of the IPA. I do know that a lot of the schools are very interested in this. So when that link comes out, I think I'll reach out to Molly to reach out to those schools that were at the educators conference, because I'm pretty sure they're definitely going to want to look at that and also have their comments heard too as well.
Doug?
Yeah.
This is Chris. Just
Hi,
curious, and maybe this was discussed previously, so I apologize. Is the CBA seeking any input from the ISBA or totally not?
My understanding is that ISBA is being kept informed of what the CBA is doing, and it's there's a certain amount of collaboration involved, but I would say that as far as I can make out, the policy of the CBA and the CBF is to keep the ISBA informed, but not really fully consulted. I mean, that's just my read on the situation. I mean, it did come up a couple of months ago, and someone, I forget who it was, wanted to know whether the ISBA was aware of what the CBA was doing, and I spoke to the executive director of the CBA, and basically his response was, the ISBA is involved in this. They know that we're doing this. We're keeping them abreast of, of what we're doing. But as I said, I think it's, the ISBA does not have any formal representation on the committee, as far as I know. Oh, I'm sure a lot of people who are on the committee, I'm sure, are also ISBA members, but there's no official ISBA involvement. They're just being informed, and I'm sure that they're going to be sent to the final reports once it's ready. But so, I mean, there's a certain informal collaboration, but it certainly seems that CBA is driving this and not really involving ISBA as any kind of a full partner.
Okay.
So everybody be on the lookout for that link from Doug. I think it might be a good idea to actually put that out on our Facebook page and maybe put it into maybe our one of our publications so that our members can actually look at that too as well. Anything else on that front, Doug?
No, I think that's all I've got.
Okay. All right. So we'll go ahead and move on to business. Yvonne, do you want to go ahead and Liana, do you guys want to talk about the virtual 2020 Fall Education Conference? We kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. Was there anything else that we needed to add to that?
I didn't have anything else.
Okay.
I didn't either.
All right. 2021 Fall Education Conference. Yvonne provided a copy of the contract. As everybody is aware, we are not going to be doing an in-person education conference at the Palmer House, and we had already put down $1,000 deposit for that. So the contract for the 2021 education conference is there, and that's on Wednesday, correct?
Yes, Wednesday, November 3rd. The Thursday is not available, and the next Thursday is Veterans Day.
Okay.
I do think Thursdays are better, but if we can't do Wednesday, November 4th, and we can't do if we can't do Thursday, November 4th, and Thursday, November 11th, then we have no choice but to go to Wednesday, November 3rd, unless we move back into October.
Do we think we're going to go back to an in-person event in 2021?
My thought, and I think kind of what we discussed last month, was that perhaps if the virtual works well, we would do one virtual and one in person. And I do think that the fall one is the better one to do in person in conjunction with Paralegal Day, and perhaps move the spring one to virtual.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to take that in-person one completely away. We're not necessarily putting the extra money. I mean, they have the deposit, so basically it's just transferring it over, correct?
Yeah, and if the same thing happens next year and there is no vaccine, which we expect that there will be, then we'd have to, then look at moving it to 2022 or something. But I think we all expect that, or we all hope that there'll be a vaccine by summer of 2021, and which will allow people to attend fall of 2021. But I think especially because it's going to be Paralegal Day.
Yeah, just keeping it out there as an option. I mean, if we do get the amazing turnout that we're kind of hoping for this year, and let's say that they do have a vaccine, or that life is just back to some normalcy. Obviously, this year we have the opportunity to cancel because of what's happening. But if we were to choose to not have a conference in person next year, we likely would lose our deposit at that point. Correct.
Correct.
What is the deadline to sign the contract, Yvonne? Do we have one?
No, we can, I don't understand force majeure, and I'm probably not saying that right, but.
Menagerie.
Oh, what is it?
Forced menagerie, isn't it?
It's M-A-J-U-E-R-E.
Force majeure.
It's majeure.
Majeure.
Thank you.
Majeure.
I don't know. I always called it menagerie when I was in
I like that.
college. So
That's not right. It's cute.
So
nobody ever said it properly to me, and I never use it. I just knew how to read it.
So yeah, I don't understand it exactly, but, and I did send an email to them yesterday asking for clarification, and they did not respond back. But I think there's a possibility that if the state of Illinois is not allowing us in November, if I understand correctly, if the state of Illinois does not allow us to hold the event in November, they must give us back the deposit. If that's correct. Does that sound right?
I have a feeling that it is accurate, and I think we should. Somebody's got to know a contract attorney who could look at us for us, because I'm sure there's a back door out of it.
Do we have a copy?
But then the issue is, so then the only issue is, let's say October comes along and we have not postponed it, and the government or the governor allows in person, then are we stuck with going with November 4th? Or, and if not, can we move it to 2020? But will any dates that we want be available in 2020?
2021, you mean?
Yes, 2021.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that. Well, I was just I wasn't talking about 2020 at all. I mean, I think that we're all expecting that we're going virtual, just if we could find the right platform. I'm just saying, do we want to take that $1,000 and get it back, or do we want to apply it to 2021, not knowing necessarily how we feel and how this fall education conference goes, and if we want to, because again, if we cancel in 2021 or for whatever reason, we might not get that money back. Where this year we do have an extenuating circumstance that will likely allow us.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So if we don't sign a new contract and move the money now, and we wait until October with the force majeure clause or whatever, then we run the risk of saying, you know, and the governor says, no, you can have an event in the fall at Palmer House, and we are not going to have an event in the fall at Palmer House because we are going to virtual. Then do we lose the money? And then we can't even move it to next year.
I'd like to interject if I could. So I'm a real estate paralegal, and force majeure is coming up constantly, and it's a big issue, even how it's being handled in the current crisis. So I think at the minimum, if we consider having it, keeping the contract and extending it to 2021, I do like the suggestion of having somebody that's a contract attorney looking at it. But even with that, it's not a slam dunk, even if they say, oh yeah, you'll be good. It's very complex, and not everything's falling neatly into categories because it's a complex thing that we haven't dealt with in our lifetimes, and contracts haven't addressed them specifically, you know, a virus specifically. So I would recommend having somebody look at it at the minimum.
Well, and I mean, when do we normally sign the contract with for the fall? I mean,
we normally right around the fall education conference, we start looking at dates for the next year. We ask them to hold a date. They provide a contract for us, and they allow us to pay in January, so that it is, so we normally approve the contract in December, but we don't pay the deposit until January. And they've been working with us in this regard, because we want it to come out of the next year's budget. So we don't want to pay in December for 2020's budget, because it's actually 2021. But this, of course, is different because we've already paid.
Yeah. I don't know necessarily that I want to sign that contract until we know for sure what's going on. Liana says she thinks the challenge there is determining the space we would need.
There's a question, can we offer virtual and in-person options for the conferences?
Oh.
And I think the challenge is determining how much space do you need then? I mean, if we have to plan for 100 people to show up, but only 20 are in person, that's a challenge. But again, I'm not trying to say we should not cancel for the fall of 2020. Again, I think everybody thinks, you know, virtual is the way to go. Even if the governor lifted the ban, I don't see us holding something in person. But it's the question remains, what do we do with that $1,000? Do we ask for it back, or do we have them apply it to 2021? That's the topic of the question I was posing.
Do we have any contract attorneys that could look at
I do. I work for contract attorneys. I have plenty.
So we would they be willing to look at the 2020 contract to see if we could even just flat out get the money back? Sure. Instead of at this point, right? I mean, that's what I'm saying. We've canceled fall. That's been decided. It's trying to see if we can get the money back versus extending it to 2021.
And Deandra, if your attorneys are busy, I can stick it under 2 of my attorneys, and we've been doing our contracts anyway, so.
Okay, you go ahead. As a board member, you can go ahead.
No, it's up to, no. NFPA, go ahead.
Hey, why don't we get 2 opinions? It wouldn't hurt to have 2 different opinions. So Yvonne, would you mind sending the 2020 contract to Deandra and Larice?
If the board gives me approval, I will do that.
Yes. Somebody want to make a motion? Do we need to motion that?
No, just a straw poll.
Okay. Is anybody opposed to sending the contracts to have them reviewed? No.
No.
All right. So Yvonne, go ahead and send it to Deandra and Larice. If you guys can have your attorneys. Okay, Kathy. Kathy's going to drop off the call.
I have to go.
Okay, bye.
Talk to you guys soon.
Let's have that reviewed about getting the money back. You know, I thought we had talked about in the past, I was just reminded that I thought the Palmer House had already said we could get the money back because of this.
Yeah, and and that's what I understood it to be, and because we talked about the force majeure, but that's where I was trying to ask her, you know, because I went back to the email and I was unclear, which is why I asked her to confirm why we couldn't get the money back and what the terms were in order to just get the money back versus rolling it over. And that's when I asked for the new contract, of course, and she has not responded. Okay. But I do know that that was yesterday around lunchtime, I think. And I do know that they are working, obviously, because they're not holding conventions. Their catering department is working short. Our normal contact is laid off. You know, they're limited staff working very limited hours because they're just not doing anything.
Okay. So let's see if we can definitely get the money back from the 2020 contract. We'll definitely get that set up. You know, I do agree with Jen. It's probably a good idea because there's going to be a lot of people who, even when we do go back, that might still be weary. A lot of people are really starting to like the virtual convenience. And I don't know necessarily that we're going to go back. Maybe we can work on doing some kind of social event after we do a virtual conference where we can get everybody together in person. But let's kind of cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay, I forwarded the contract to both Deandra and Larice.
Okay.
Yvonne, would you mind sending it to me as well, Helen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So we will definitely tackle that one for next week. If you guys can definitely get me the attorney's opinions on that, so that we can kind of address this as we go, so that we're ready for this. So we'll go ahead and move on to new business. Oh,
I'm just wondering, should we, and perhaps not, but should we make a motion that if it's determined that we can't get the money back, that we move ahead with the contract? Or do you want to risk losing November 3rd date if we wait another month?
you know, something, to be honest with you, I don't want to be stuck into a contract.
Okay.
Let's cross that bridge next month and make that final decision. That's my opinion. What does everybody else think?
I agree.
Me too.
You know, if it was $100, it'd be one thing, but it's 1,000. That's a lot out of our budget.
Right.
Hopefully August would be soon enough if we choose to go with November of next year. Hopefully the dates haven't filled up.
I don't see a lot of people booking things right now. To be honest with
No,
you.
the hospitality industry is really kind of flatlining right now.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't we go ahead and move on to new business? Does anybody have anything that they would like to discuss? I'm going to take a peek at YouTube just in case somebody happens to be on there. And there are no comments. But we'll give it a couple more minutes because there is a delay.
What did you want me to do for, you were talking about a vendor you need for a virtual something or other. I need to get that underway.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. I totally forgot to put it on here. I am looking into doing a virtual visit to the RGB exhibit. This is something that won't come out of the IPA's budget because I want it to be paid for directly by a vendor. But what I was considering is, since we can't do a fundraiser with pins for the fall education conference, I thought it might be a cool idea to have a vendor sponsor this virtual visit to the Ruth Bader Ginsburg exhibit that's at the Holocaust Museum. The cost is $250. Like I said, I definitely want the vendor to pay that directly, but I would like to charge our members a nominal, like $5 fee, $5 or $10 fee to go directly into the scholarship fund as a way to raise money. I don't want that scholarship to go away. And it might be kind of a cool event to be able to do that. What are everybody's thoughts on that? Everybody's okay with that?
Yeah. Is it like 9 to 5 or, I mean, what it?
It would be we can have it set up. I had actually talked to the person. We can have it start at 5:30. So we can do it in the evening. And basically what they do is they go through the exhibit, because obviously nobody can go in there in person, although I think they're doing limited stuff now. But it could be something that we can open up, you know, to whoever would like to come. Maybe the NFPA might be interested in, you know, promoting it on their website to see if anybody else would like to participate. So I think a $10 for taking part in this, and all the money goes directly to the scholarship fund.
I think it's a fantastic idea.
Would the sponsor
Yeah,
also be the
wonderful
sponsor?
exhibit.
Yeah, would the sponsor also be the sponsor of that year's scholarship?
For next year.
Or pin,
Yeah, so
pin?
instead of having the pin, we would do this. Leanna, I do need to touch base with you. I just want to see what's in the funds for the scholarship for this year so we can put an amount to it, so we can get that out to the schools. And I do have that letter I have to send you.
Yeah.
So if everybody is in agreement, I'd like to do that in August. The exhibit closes on August 22nd, I believe. So probably the middle of August, I would like to get this put together.
I think it'd be great if you charge, if it's $10 or whatever, but then maybe even, I don't know, Yvonne, if this is possible or how we do it, but if you want to donate an additional amount, that you could do that.
Well, we have to be really careful with that donation phrase. Maybe considering that we're not necessarily doing anything in Chicago right now, maybe we can work on doing some sort of raffle or something over the course of the year. I know that it was always a big deal if we were doing it in Chicago, so we may want to look into maybe doing things like that where we do a virtual happy hour and get vendors who can, vendors or people donate items that can be raffled off and people can buy raffle tickets or, something along those lines. I know that we can do a lot more stuff virtually, but I know there was an issue with that when we were doing our education conferences in the fall in the city. So I think this virtual thing opens up a lot more opportunities for fundraising for the scholarships.
What about a GoFundMe page?
We can't do that because that's considered donations.
Okay.
It's one of those really tricky things. So if they're paying to do something, that's different than a donation. So like if they're paying for a pin, we just delegate the money to go towards something else. It's that kind of line that we're walking.
When you say pin, what does that mean?
We had sold pins in the past to raise money for the scholarships. Yeah, pins.
Okay.
And because we're not doing the in-person education conferences, we were unable to do that this year. So I definitely want to kind of come up with new ideas, but since we're all embracing technology on a different way, I think this would be kind of a cool way to raise the money. We can have up to 250 people. I believe it's 200. I'll have to confirm the amounts. I do have the email. Jen, I'll forward that to you. But it's different levels of the amount of people. And I want to say it was like 150 or 250 something. But I think it would be a cool idea to raise money for the scholarship.
What if we did, I'm looking at your email about the virtual tour and the price, but you remember the annual meeting and we did Kahoot?
Yeah.
And I have an account with Kahoot. What if we did something where we had a virtual trivia competition where people had to pay $10 or $15 to participate. And if we could get and maybe we have a sponsor, and if we could get a good amount of people that do it with a prize, I mean, like maybe the prize is $100 gift card, and you could maybe do teams or something, or it could just be individual. And we had a prize. Like if we could get a sponsor that would pay, because we wouldn't have to pay for the Kahoot account because I've already paid for it, and we got a sponsor for something like $300, let's say, and 150 of that sponsorship goes toward the scholarship, and 150 of the sponsorship goes toward the prize. And then the person who went, and people paid $10 to participate and attend, and then whoever won the trivia would win the $150 prize. And we could come up with the trivia questions. Maybe it has to do with law or just something totally fun, you know, but it could have to do with Supreme Court decisions, or, you know, something. Supreme Court decisions over the last 50 years, or I don't even know.
I know it sounds funny, but I could probably reach out to Gail Miller. She used to do a quiz bowl on paralegal knowledge of what was in the in the books. I could probably score that from her. That might be a cool idea.
I mean, if you have enough, or I'm sorry, if you have a large enough prize, people may be willing to do it, and especially if you tell them that it's a fundraiser for the scholarship.
Yeah. Why don't we look at that one for maybe in the wintertime or after the fall?
Okay.
Hey, Liana, do you remember with the domestic violence, were you part of that, where we had that trivia? I think it was $25 to get in, honestly.
Oh, I don't know about that one, but I know I also did one at Kankakee Community College, and I don't remember the cost of that, but it wasn't too high. But again, great questions. And
yeah, how about I bring that up with the scholarship committee and we can reevaluate that. I actually have to have a meeting with the scholarship committee anyway. I'm going to be sending out an email this week once I confirm the amount for the scholarship. But I definitely wanted to propose this now because it would be something that would need to be done. Since there isn't money coming out of the board, I don't know necessarily that we need to make a motion for it. But just if anybody has any objections to getting that set up and on the calendar for August, because we don't pay out the money until after somebody wins.
well, if there's a cost associated with doing the virtual tour, I think we would have to do a motion for that amount if we don't currently have a vendor in place. But
okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Yvonne.
If the vendor is paying the fee directly, you do not need to make a motion. If the IPA is paying the fee and then the vendor is reimbursing or paying a sponsorship fee to the IPA, then you need a motion.
Okay. And like I said, I definitely want the vendor to pay for this directly. So does anybody have anything else? All right, if not, congratulations everyone. We have officially done our first live streamed board meeting. There are no additional questions up here on the YouTube channel. So everybody wave goodbye. And we will call the meeting adjourned at 6:38. I think that's a record, guys.
Yeah, it's great.
So going forward, we'll keep things in this particular format. Next month, we will actually go ahead and advertise it. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye. Bye.